kicking in.
Hey, what's up, trash talkers? Listen, it's impossible to fight, okay, if you don't know what you're fighting for. Does that make sense? Like, if you're in the dumps and you're struggling with mental health, things of that nature, it's going to continue tearing you down, all right? Because you're consistently trying to fight something, which is that demon, which is usually something from the past, right? Maybe that why needs to be fighting for your future. Let that be your why. Get the hell up and start fighting for your future. Stop fighting things that happened in the past. Easier said than done, right? Go seek help. It's okay not to be okay. A lot of people need to hear this. You are more of a warrior and a fighter if you stand up and say, hey, this has to stop. I need to go seek help. The stigma, everything has changed. It's okay not to be okay.
Here is a firm believer in all men are created equal, but not all men live equal. That is why there's a certain select number of people in the DoD who decided to jump out of airplanes. And yes, we are better than you. 100%. Now, don't be the first pansy to say, well, airborne's not relevant. You haven't jumped since World War II. Well, that's not accurate, for one. And two, it's like having a jalopy or a 68 Mustang. Well, a 68 Mustang's no longer relevant. Doesn't matter. It's still a better car than yours. So take it easy this National Airborne Day and just accept that we are better than you.
So, two things for today's Honesty Cap. First thing, how do all my boys from the 101st feel knowing that the Army decided that instead of actually making you airborne, they've just created a whole new division that's airborne because you just aren't cutting it? It sucks. Thing number two, for all the folks who were like, oh, airborne is irrelevant, doesn't even matter, they're making a whole new division of just airborne people because they're relevant. Think about that. How's that feel? Does it hurt a little bit? I hope it hurts a little bit.
This is the Veteran Trash Talk Hour, hosted by Nick, Dave, and Buddy. Real warriors making fun of other real warriors. Try to not get triggered.
Woohoo! Where'd everybody go?
Where did everybody go?
The dumpster fire has started. Oh, man.
There we are.
The dumpster fire.
How's everybody doing?
Yeah, we're
Great
trying
weekend.
to teach all these Gen X and boomers how to
I think we're being attacked by China. I think that's what's going on.
There goes Jerry. Jerry's gone again. Bye,
China.
Jerry.
Jerry will be back.
Jerry will be back.
Jerry's back. No, he's not.
Oh, man.
Tom's here, though.
We got the Shaw of comedy, at least. At least we got the Shaw.
Oh, what's up, Trash Talkers? What's up, Gruntworks Nation? We're here. Season 2, episode 12.
I think it's
got retired Command Sergeant Major Campbell on and Jerry Tempesta. I hope I didn't pronounce that wrong. Vietnam veteran, and we're going to talk about all kinds of good stuff today. So we are excited. And it's a dumpster fire, and there goes our other guest again.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Jerry's just.
Go, there we go.
Like you said, there you are. There he is.
Hey, we're
I'm
live,
back.
Jerry. So rocket, baby.
I don't give a shit what anybody says. Every time Jerry puts his sunglasses down,
Okay, is Tom there?
Al Pacino in like
Yeah, Tom's here.
Like, this whole place is out of order. Gotta burn
Is the
this.
general there?
A barren man. What's a barren man, anyways?
Hey, Jerry, can you hear
Is
us?
General Klein there?
He is not, Jerry.
Jerry, he's not here yet. Maybe he'll come out later.
Yeah.
No,
Try to get him.
It's just Campbell. Just grizzled face Campbell.
How's everybody doing today?
Yeah,
Good? Yeah. Everybody good? Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
Nick and I partied a little bit yesterday. I'm visiting here in beautiful California. Still a little too cold for me, though. I prefer Arizona heat.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the traffic seemed pretty brutal driving in here. But
There's
good to be here.
There's a lot of people that live here.
it's good to be here.
Less people that used to live here. Now they live in Texas and Tennessee.
Yeah,
And Arizona.
I did the reverse migration.
Went the other way. Yeah.
Yep, I passed them all.
Yeah.
You know, as they say, buy when the prices are high, and then when
Well,
they crash.
California was the only market where the houses were down because everybody's leaving.
Yeah.
So it's like perfect time to go.
Yeah.
So, although I'm not paying state income tax yet because I stayed 183 days in Texas, but next year is going to suck. Really.
Oh, see, in Tennessee, we don't pay state income tax anyway.
Yeah. Well, you don't in Texas either. Texas is the best country in the world.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
Well, that's because people from Tennessee went there and made it.
Right. That is true. Davy Crockett.
Either way, Texas.
Davy Crockett.
Yeah.
True.
True story.
I would
All
do Texas.
volunteers.
But the
All
beach is there.
volunteers.
I don't really care for them too much. And I need
Anyway.
the ocean, eventually. So
Anyway,
Graham is watching from Boston. Yeah. Hey, let's do the conspiracy.
you want to do a conspiracy?
Yeah, we
so
know what Tom thinks because Tom's an outdoor guy.
Tom's an outdoor guy, so maybe Tom can give us a clue on what the hell is going on here. So, as you know, for everybody that's watching, you guys know I usually look at the conspiracy a day or two prior, and I came across this individual. He's a hunter, and they seem like legit. I don't know if this is fake or not, but they picked something up on their trail cam, and we're gonna go ahead and play the video and discuss. Go ahead, Chris. Play the video.
Do it, Muffin Fingers.
So Gene and I are out on yet another adventure, and last time we were out I caught some footage that quite frankly has me a little spooked, and I haven't quite decided if I want to show it yet. Now it's not the first time that I catch something in the background while we're recording, like a deer that we didn't notice or some hikers that we didn't see while we were busy winching the Jeeps out of a mud hole or something, but this was different. Now I don't understand what I saw and I can't explain it, so if you have seen anything like it, please feel free to let me know what you think it is in the comments. Frankly, it has me pretty spooked. Never captured any footage, but tonight was different.
Love, buddy. Come on,
Hey, buddy.
So I'm gonna give my take on this. I believe in ghosts and spirits. If you go into the comments section, it's actually a lot of people are talking about supposable cloaking devices. But I'm like, yeah, the military is just out there because we do have like technology to cloaking devices and stuff. But I don't think the military's out there like fucking around near somebody's truck in a trail cam. And then the dude in the video seemed pretty genuine. Like he's just out there with his wife, like catching deer and stuff. And then he sees this entity that kind of like, I don't know.
She's out there catching deer.
Yeah,
Just
hunting deer.
just
You know,
catching
no,
deer.
catching
Catching
deer on his trail
Goodness.
cam.
Just tackle him.
On his camera, he's catching deer. He's catching
You
animals.
run around. You just get him in a chokehold.
Anyway,
Catch
let me
the
finish.
deer.
Let me finish. So
Can I finish?
I feel like the dude is pretty genuine. I don't think it's like AI or whatever, but I don't know. Maybe it is a ghost because it kind of like comes in and comes out. I don't think that guy's capable just by listening to him talk, like do like AI technology and like make this shit appear and disappear. Because you see the entity or whatever it is, it comes close, but then it zooms out and it's gone and it comes close again. Like it's just really weird. So I say maybe a ghost of some sort that was out there in the woods doing some stuff, and that's my take. Tom, what the hell's going on here? As an advocate hunter who messes around with
catches deer
trail cams and stuff like that. What do we got going on here? Is this just some
Before
AI
you start
bullshit?
talking, please tell us how many deer you've caught.
Yeah.
This year, 3.
You caught 3 this year.
3.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you ride them all at one time, like sleigh style,
Yeah.
or do you?
No, I put them in a chain. That way
Got it.
we can get faster that way.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
That's how you got the extra horsepower.
Yeah,
Your
or
power.
more
Your
hoof power.
Actually,
Hoof
DP.
power. Yeah, hoof power. How many hoofs you pushing out here?
But no, I think that was my cousin, man. He was trying to take a crap out there. He told me that he was taking a crap and he saw a damn camera looking right at him. No, that actually was a true story.
I don't understand.
But no, I don't have a clue what the hell that was.
Yeah. Do you think the guy's like trying to do some elaborate hoax? Like, I feel like that guy is just like, he seems genuine and doesn't have the technology to go on his computer and like create something like that. Now it could be somebody else playing a joke, right? What's that?
Dude,
It was his trail cam. What are you talking about? He doesn't
That's what
have
I'm
the
saying.
technology.
dude,
Well, 'cause
rednecks ain't that
you
damn
can't just
smart,
like
man.
you can't just like be Joe Schmo, take your trail cam footage and like create some AI into it, or like you got to know a little bit about video editing, buddy. Like you have to have the basic understanding of it, the basic knowledge to do that. I'm just saying the guy is he doesn't strike me as somebody who wanted to do this.
Rednecks were tricking the entire world into thinking Sasquatches were walking around 50 years ago. They didn't have an AI or anything. They just had a monkey costume, and they would punch over a little bit. They would go,
I mean, you do trick us all the time, but Tom's saying you just don't know what it is. Do you think it's a hoax, or do you just don't have an answer for it?
I don't know. I mean, it could be, believe it or not. I mean, it could have been a bat or a bird that caught the out there.
Okay.
Yeah, because the eyes did light up.
They did. But it was
Yeah.
getting close.
Well, I mean,
How
If
do
it's a
the
bat, I
how do
mean,
the ghosts find the trail cams? By the way, guys, anybody know? Anybody know how the ghost would just simply be walking and be like, "Well, there's a damn trail cam. Let's go screw with it."
Right.
Well, you did say last week that deer are conspiring to jump out in front of your car. So why can't a ghost on a fucking trail cam?
So, not a huge deal.
What's your take, buddy? What's your take on this? Let's go.
Deer getting consciousness and fucking with me, 100% way more likely than ghost walking through the woods just chilling and being like, dude, trail cam, boo, I'm out. Just saying.
All right, so it's a hoax by this guy, is what you're saying? That's your
I
take?
actually think that Tom is more on the right side. It was most likely a bug, a bat, or a bird.
Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird
And
how
the
it's like
Canadians,
hiding
and
behind a
then
vehicle,
and then
it's
while
like-
Canadians aren't too stupid to fake a prank or fake a video, they are
a fake
gullible.
country.
They're gullible.
They're a fake country.
It was a president, fellas. They're gullible.
Right. Yeah. All right. Your take is it's some sort of animal and it just looks pretty gnarly, obviously. Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
surprised there's war crime against it.
I do want to address one thing that my partner here did and said how much you just insulted rednecks. and Buddy had to come back and say,
one thing I don't have to worry about getting canceled, right?
You know, like to think that they're not smart enough to use a computer.
No.
I mean, we did see Tom try to log on a computer. And that's
I kind of proved that point.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, I've been out in the woods a lot as a ranger instructor, you know, out in the swamps. And we had a guy dressed up in a gorilla costume all the time to fuck with ranger students, right? And like a million, and our eyes. Like he just, all of a sudden, this gorilla come running out at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's usually one of the op 4. You know, come running out of the woods and go after your rucksack and run away with your rucksack. And a fucking gorilla just took my rucksack. You know, so, and then the ranger students would be like, Sergeant, a gorilla took our rucksack. Really, dude? Where's your rucksack? You know, and so like, I mean, it could just be one of his buddies. Like, I think it's a buddy.
You do?
I think it's a buddy. Like, you know, that Tom said, you know, taking a shit in front of his trail cam. You know, like maybe just putting I don't know, something. It's fake.
It's fake.
It's fake. Yeah.
So
100%.
elaborate hoax.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Yeah, but I mean,
Who got killed out there that was wearing a cape, like some type of cloak?
It could be a ghost from the 1600s, that got shot out there when he was, just hanging around. And an Indian hit him with an arrow, like. I mean,
First
it could
of all,
be a ghost.
American, problematic.
Yeah. I'm still thinking ghost.
But buddy, again, you don't think ghosts would want to say hi? Like, we don't want to be like, hey, what's up, dude? On trail cam, maybe you're waving.
I think they got better things to do.
Ghosts, they don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Good take.
Yeah.
Pretty simple conspiracy for today. Nothing too crazy. We still are going to talk about the Diddy situation, but we need like a full hour for that.
Yeah,
one.
and then we need Troxel to come back on for that.
Yeah.
Troxel.
Not Troxel.
Burke? No, Glick. JC Glick wants to come back on for the P Diddy conspiracy. So, my book of Earl, it's a sadder one, and it goes because I got some news a couple days ago that a good friend of ours, buddies, wasn't really a good friend of mine until later in life because he was a couple of peer groups ahead of me, but he killed himself on Saturday. Old Ranger Martin, Kyle Martin. And I was literally on the same career path. Like, my last patrol in Florida, he was an RI there, and he walks up behind me and says, "Ranger, what are you doing with a Snickers bar in your canteen pouch?" And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Well, you put a Snickers bar in my canteen pouch, right? And like, he's like, "You better get rid of that right now." So I ate it, and like, I knew him in the 82nd. He was in 2P, and then I think he was in 1P for a little bit too. But like, and then he went to Hawaii, and that's exactly the career path that I was on. And we stayed in touch for the last, 10 years. But I hadn't heard from him in a while, and it makes me, like I said, I'm at the point now where I don't get sad anymore when our brothers kill themselves. I get angry, and I don't know if that's the right emotion for it, but it just is what it is. So maybe you guys, when I'm done here, can elaborate on that maybe a little bit. But I get angry, and everybody knows I got an awesome job through JC Glick doing. Yeah, you can put his picture up, Chris. I got a job right when I retired, a real awesome one that has suicide prevention training on virtual reality, and I wrote a letter that got read to the House Armed Services Committee when I was at the Sergeant Majors Academy about how we don't think of things as a system, and why aren't we training people to have the emotional intelligence when they're in the Army, as opposed to just throwing a bunch of money at veterans after the fact, right? Like, why aren't we training them to understand the triggers, have the confidence to talk to people, have the wherewithal to reach out and say something? And we're all guilty of it. We're all guilty of it sometimes of just, getting in our own little shell. But I think because of this show, because of the relationships that we've made, that we're a lot stronger at reaching out to somebody. Where, and then like Buddy and I always say, when that person's name goes across your head for some reason at 2:00 in the morning, give them a call the next day. Right. Or like right there and then.
Shoot him a text at least right there and then.
Right. So I know, Cliff was talking about, hey, make sure you reach out. And this is what I want to talk about with the Book of Earl is suicide isn't just a veteran thing. All right. And again, we dissociate, veterans from society because it's easier to deal with it, just like soldiers. When soldiers die in combat, like the news says a soldier got killed, and it's like, no, it's an American citizen just got killed, right? A son, a daughter, right? A father, a mother. But it makes it easier for us to take it, as civilians. But Ranger Martin was full of life. It was never a guy that came across my head that I should probably call. And that's what really, really irks me. And again, I'm not saying anybody could have prevented it, but when it comes to taking care of being your brother's keeper, and this works not just for anybody watching right now, civilian, it doesn't matter. If that person's name goes across your head, call them. All right, give them a call. And what do we got coming up? All right, the holiday season. All right, we all know this. The holidays are very, very difficult on active duty people. right? Because it's a lot of travel. You're spending the most money. You spend pretty much your entire paycheck that you made all year, especially as an enlisted guy, taking your family somewhere back home, right? And then you're either going to your in-laws or you're going to your family. So your in-law, like it's a disaster, right? And so it's very, very stressful. And then there's people that just don't have anybody, and they're alone. So expect an uptick in suicide attempts during the holidays. We always know this, but I don't know, Tom, have we been like, I haven't seen any real messaging coming out about that. And that's what's kind of making me mad. Like, why aren't we messaging this? Right? Where's the HQDA G1 message out that says, hey, it's the holidays. Make sure you call your battle buddies. Like, make sure you do this. I'm getting angry because, again, I'm taking it a little personal because I knew him. But, like, I just think something has to get done. And like I said, the book of real short. It's call your battle buddy. Call him. All right, do it. So that's what I got. Major Martin was an awesome dude. He's an awesome dude.
Yeah.
Great soldier. For sure.
The thing that the picture, if people that are looking at the screen, the picture that's on the left as you're looking at the screen with them running down at 6 RTB, that was only taken a few months ago. You know what I mean? That's what suicide looks like. So, he and Martin was always happy, always positive, always physically a specimen. Like, it didn't seem like anything was really that difficult for him. And he was always he's pretty much always smiling, always having a good time. But you have to, I don't know that one. I don't know. I'm almost on the opposite side of you at this point. There's so many. I was talking to a couple buddies when I found out about Martin, and I was like, at this point, I've lost count. It's gotten to the point that I don't know. I think I'm just numb. Another one to add to the list, except for the list is so long that I don't even know where I put it at this point.
Yeah, because they teach you about all those triggers, right? Watch out of the basic stuff they teach you.
Yeah, but they put them on a PowerPoint slide, or they read them off of a pamphlet.
He's trying to sell off his stuff to you. Like,
they give you an ACE card that says, "Hey, if somebody just broke up with their girlfriend, maybe you should call them."
If you think about the last couple people that we know, like from 2P and just in general in the last 3-4 years, like I'd say 80% of them you would have never thought. Like those were not the dudes that you would have expected it from.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like those cards that they give you or those symptoms they give you.
Yep.
All of those are 100% spot on in hindsight. But
they are. We know that, and I said that on the Facebook thread. I'm like, the data is very clear on why service members kill themselves.
Yeah.
And why veterans. You can't deny the percentages of why they've done it, or when they research it, find out what they've been doing.
But I'm saying all those symptoms, not symptoms, but all those,
signs,
stuffs away, them, getting their financial stuff squared away, being happy, all that stuff. In hindsight, all of that is clear. You can see it, but when you're right there looking at it, you can't really you don't
have the emotional intelligence to trigger to do it.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Now.
Nobody puts 2 and 2 together. That's what's going on. You know what I mean?
And so, this is what I get. This is why I get angry. And again, it kind of hurts me in my job that I have because I take it very personal. And it's like when I hear somebody say no to it, I'm like, or our training's good as it is. I'm like, are you fucking stupid?
Yeah.
What? And we did it with Veteran Trash Talk, which we knew that there was going to be a problem during COVID, so we did something, right? And it's I got to think that instead of just paying $20-30 million to just have somebody sitting as a PS12 in the basement of an old hospital as the iPad or whatever, and hey, call me if you want to do prevention training. That's not it.
Yeah, somebody that doesn't speak your language.
What do you say, Tom?
Yeah. Well, so what I've seen, I mean, you guys know, I do a lot of public speaking and share my story of suicide, kind of like, it's kind of very similar to Cliff's. But when I started sharing my story, though, I also got invited to sit on a lot of death review boards for suicides. And there's a couple of things that I've picked up by sitting on it, and in my case in particular. One is sometimes there are no signs, and once the plan's made, there's a relief. Like when I had my plan and I rehearsed it, there's a sense of relief I can't explain to you.
Right.
And when I was a commandant down at the Drill Sergeant Academy, I had a drill sergeant leader kill himself, and nobody saw it coming. But when I got out to his house and went in to get the rest of the guns out of the house after they removed his body, I saw a note that, it said, "Dear Evelyn, I really enjoyed last night. I wish we could have done it again, Matt." And that note was, I knew they weren't together the 2 nights before, and that had been written on there a long time. And that answered the mail that why we didn't see any signs. He'd been planning this for a long time. And there were some things that happened where he was trying to execute the plan. There were some disruptions, but then he was able to find a way to execute his plan. But back to the talking. The only reason I'm here right now is because my wife now, she was a friend at the time, acted on an intuition. Then she had no idea she was about to intervene in a suicide. But not only did she act on that intuition, but she was persistent on it. She probably called me about, 10 times before I answered the phone. And years later, I asked her how long she would have called. And her answer was she was getting in her car and she's going to keep calling until either I answered or she found me. And that was just an intuition. She just had a feeling she needed to check and see how I was doing. And then a few years after that, then she became my wife, and we're married now. But what you said, man, is about picking up the phone. If somebody weighs on you, by God, pick up the phone. You don't know what's on the other end of that phone, and sometimes a simple hello goes a hell of a long way.
Right.
And we've said it on the show a bunch of times. Buddy has, but like I said, the Book of Earl it's holiday time, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna have brothers struggling, sisters struggling, all right, family members that aren't even in the military struggling.
I was gonna say that, yeah.
Give them a call.
A lot of financial issues,
Yeah.
like a lot of stuff.
Hello, guys. I'm back.
Yeah, we got Jerry. We got Jerry back. Well, that's a good segue, buddy. We can get into Jerry and why he's here, why the Shaw is here.
While you guys are talking about veteran suicide, I just want to mention that about 5 years ago, I was on a Wounded Warrior fishing trip in Lake Erie, and I met this young veteran from Afghanistan. He was suffering from TBI and PTSD, and I mentored him, and he had a guitar with him, and he realized that I sang, okay, and I said, he looked me up, he saw I'm a singer, and I talked to him about music, how healing music is, and for 3 days I talked to him about a lot of things. I got him hooked up with somebody that wrote music with the Oak Ridge Boys, stuff like that, and because he wrote music. And he called me up a week later and he said to me, "I never told you this, but before I met you, I was going to commit suicide."
I think
Yeah.
again.
Oh no.
Yeah, and no, that's actually, we've run into that before, where a lot of Vietnam veterans are mentoring GWAT soldiers, and that's a great thing. 100% is. Yeah.
Well,
you're kind of breaking up, Jerry.
The Vietnam veterans generation, they didn't have like high speed 3D virtual reality training they could do. They had to figure it out on their own, and not only did they have to figure it out on their own, they were getting shit
They
thrown
don't
at
have
them,
benefits either.
spitting on them and telling them they were assholes. So they either had to shove it down deep and figure out how to get over it or not,
Yeah.
So
Not to mention
they're,
the entire country or a large portion of the country being against what was going on, which obviously didn't help. And then zero focus on mental health and things of that nature. Yeah, when we came home, it's a whole different
But
story.
yeah, but again, just if we think linear, we just throw money at the VA, which is great because we can get somebody some help. The training has to start early. The training has to start when they're active duty, then when they become veterans. Same thing with injury prevention, right? Like a lot of veterans are in pain. Why aren't we doing anything to prevent injury?
Well,
yeah, you'd rather be equipped to solve the problem than having to be taught to solve it.
We're really good at reacting to the injury and treating the injury, but why do we look at this kid and say he probably shouldn't be doing deadlifts at his age because he's got freaking no muscle. He's been playing video games his whole life. Like, let's start off with the little, PRT leg raises before we start throwing him in the gym, right? Like, it's whatever. Let's, buddy, you're supposed to intro the guests.
I'm trying to. If you
do it.
Shut up.
Do it.
And
so you gotta play a video.
Of course, we've got Tom Campbell on. We've also got Jerry.
Jerry, tell your partner in crime to shit it.
We got Jerry. So
what a shit show today.
Jerry was just given the Bronze Star. You get a Bronze Star with me from that he was awarded after an action in Vietnam in 69 or 70, Jerry? 70?
Yeah, I think it was 1970.
Yeah, in 1970 in the Renegade Woods, which
right.
If you look up the Renegade Woods, you can't find anything about it. So Jerry, tell us what happened with the 25th Infantry Division and then how it came about the Army waiting half a century to give you your award.
Tropic lightning.
Well, first of all, if you go look up on Google, okay, Battle of the Renegade Woods, their classified, now declassified after action report is on there. And it's one of a kind report. It's basically almost one of a kind report. And it's got everything in it. But anyway, on April 2nd, 1970, we were out at the field on April 1st.
Pops up, buddy.
We were on April 1st, yes. We were on April 1st, 1970, brought in to do a parking force. And the next morning, we were brought in, called up and brought on 3 helicopters, just one platoon. That's all we had at the time, to rescue the Army Rangers. And when we were brought in, we didn't realize we were outside in NVA base camp. And when the lieutenant had us moving out, the point men in both columns were immediately killed. I was third in the column behind the lieutenant. He was shot in the stomach. I was attacking the position. When the lieutenant went to the ground, I picked him up. I started dragging him out of the line of the kill zone. I got shot in the head, and I spun around and I threw a hand grenade into the enemy position and took out the machine gun that was killing all of our platoon. So when I came to a firefight, I don't remember a lot because I suffer from some memory loss. But when I came back from the hospital a week later, my ear was sewn back together, shot to the side of the head. I suffer from TBI and PTSD. I was told by the company cadre, they know what I did. I'm going to be put in for a very high bail award. That day, all of the in the company were killed and wounded. The company commander was taken out. He was given a silver star. My XO, who used to be my platoon leader, he, First Lieutenant Cy Wiser, came out 2 hours later to take charge of the company. So I was given a Purple Heart in formation in May of 1970. That's the only award I was given. I was giving nothing else. And I went on with my life, and I suffered with PTSD and TBI until I started getting some music. And music really helped me with my singing and my problem with PTSD and TBI. It wasn't until I started going to reunions about 10 years ago that I met up with other people in the platoon, and they were astonished to find out I never received nothing with the Department of the Army. They all received at least a Bronze Star V device. The point man in the right column got a Silver Star. Point man in the left column got a Distinguished Service Cross. One of the other platoon sergeants who got killed, he got a Silver Star. But I got nothing. And it's strange. And as they start looking into it, my platoon sergeant, the whole trooper, got a job in the rear the day before. The guy in his place was killed. So at the reunion, when he found all this out and whatever, he didn't this, but talked to the other guys in the platoon, talked to the eyewitnesses, saw what I did. George Weldon, he took a Kentucky, Fort Knox, Kentucky, said that he wasn't in the command position when the commander 2 hours. So this course for 5 years going through political people, and until I met Tom Campbell, this didn't go anywhere. Tom Campbell, he brought it to the attention of General Klein. Let him take it from here.
Yeah. Excited to hear about this.
Yeah, so I was doing I was sitting on a mental health panel in regards to veteran suicide up in Philadelphia, and Joe Griffey, who does the Welcome Home Veterans radio show, another Vietnam vet, and he had told me about Jerry's story. He goes, "Hey, I want to introduce you to this guy." So he introduced me to Jerry. Jerry kind of gave me a quick rundown of Renegade Woods, and I like, how in the hell does this guy not get an award? And so some of Jerry's, some of the guys that in Jerry's group, singing group, they also talked to me like, "Hey man, this guy is a freaking hero." I said, "Hey, yeah, let me take it back and see what I can do." So when I got back to Fort Eustis, Jerry had sent me, oh man, I think the packets that his buddies had tried to submit for him before, and I want to say it was about 90 something pages long, and I read through it, and I was like, man, this has got to be a shoe-in. So I ended up rented by General Klein, and General Klein was the CG for CIMT at the time for the Center for Initial Military Training where I work, and Klein was like, "Yeah, hey, I'm on board. Let's see what we can do." So we attacked HRC from 2 angles. He called his counterpart, the CG of HRC, and then I got a hold of the tag at HRC. And I was the G357 there, so I still had a few connections on the civilian side anyway. But anyhow, we ended up got oh man, his name just popped out on my head, Colonel. Oh crap! His name just popped out of my head. The guy that does all the record updates and record reviews for veterans, and so he ended up sent a packet to him. He ran it to ground and came back. And in reality, I mean, I wish we could have got something higher, but a Bronze Star with Valor was a guarantee.
Good time, Jerry.
So, he ended up, I don't know, it took about a month or maybe 2 months to get it back. And so once we got the award, they sent me the medal, and unlike the medals that we got, though, they engraved his name in the back of the Bronze Star. And they sent me the citation and the 638, and so me and General Klein made a trip up to Philadelphia, and they had reserved the chapel of 4 chaplains, which has a unique story all in itself and a very fitting place for Jerry's award ceremony. And we was able to award it to him. The cool thing though was Philadelphia governor had just approved a I can't remember what it's called, a Valor Award, a state award for veterans. And Jerry was the first recipient of the new state Valor Award, and was awarded at the same ceremony.
The state of Pennsylvania, you mean the Cross of Valor?
Say again?
Yeah, like I said, we'll have to redo this podcast again and get you guys like in a stationary location and really do it some justice next time.
Yeah.
Because I really want to hear Jerry's story, but it's almost impossible.
How much validation did that give you, Jerry, when you finally got the award? I mean, you knew what you did, and the people that you were there with knew what you did, but to be able to have it and say, like, I wasn't because the people back home don't know what you did. You know what I mean? Unless it's on a piece of paper or an award, or you know what I mean. So, how much did that actually mean to get it?
General Klein was so articulate of how he presented what I did and what it means, and when the people were leaving that day, he wanted to know what I did. Okay, and that when he reads when Tom Campbell read the award, he said, "I want you to understand everything is combined in 6 sentences, but I want you to know what he did that day." And he explained all my actions. I had my friends, my family, my congressional people there. It was like I can't explain how humbling it was, and I feel like I had this big weight lifted off my shoulders.
No, that's awesome. I wish General Klein would have came on, but we're gonna redo this and bring it up. But we're gonna play the video that closed the show of General Klein explaining it, so the people watching can get that. So those of you watching, and again, we didn't do this didn't turn out the way we really wanted to give Jerry the platform that we wanted. So like I said, we'll redo this and where you guys are like, buy good internet and buy a computer and get the attention that it deserves, because it's really awesome. So those of you watching. General Klein and Sergeant Major Retired Campbell, all right, were able to pin the Bronze Star of Valor on Jerry's chest and explain. Like I said, I watched the video, so you guys watching right now will be able to see it at the end of the show. It really is awesome, and I think like Buddy's question is, how did it feel, just to have that, because we get that, the GWAT soldiers, we get that validation, right? Like. Every sporting event we go to, I get free tickets on VetTix everywhere. We're treated very well. What was that? Just it had to be so overwhelming.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable. People are still talking about it a month later. Still talking about it.
What do you think? What do you think the burden was that you said it felt like you had a weight lifted off your shoulders? What do you think that was?
Well, it was the fact that finally being recognized for what I did. Okay, yeah. and I didn't go in the military looking for medals. I was drafted. I could have got out of the draft because I worked for the Navy. And I could have got a draft deferment, but I chose not to. My father's a World War II veteran. My uncle's a World War II veteran hero. There's a building at Fort Knox named after him, which Tom's been in. Tom Campbell's been in. So, I just feel relieved that, that my story was told.
Yeah.
And it was told in front of my family, in front of my 2 sons.
Yeah, we're gonna play it. And this show after the fact will get about 2,000 to 3,000 views. So it's gonna get out there. We're gonna do our best to get it out there. And I hope it starts a trend. I hope it starts a trend where we start doing a lot more of this. Maybe we are. We just don't know about it. Tom, are you aware of this? Are we doing this a lot? Is this happening?
it doesn't happen a lot, unfortunately. And there are a lot of guys that have done, heroic things. I mean, in Vietnam and even earlier, that didn't get recognized. An example, just like in Jerry's situation, I mean, he was evac'd out of country after getting shot in the face, literally. And so with him getting evac'd out of the country and then his company damn near getting wiped out completely and they had to reconstitute the company, yeah, I think it's one of those cases to where there was a good intention to recognize him, but it kind of got lost.
I think Tom, I think that's an army that the GWAT, anybody that served after Vietnam, that's an army that we can't even fathom a company being gone.
No,
Battalion being just gone.
Right.
A brigade like Korea, they had whole brigades that were just, that brigade's not here anymore. The 7th Infantry Division lost its colors in Korea. Like a whole division gone.
Right.
Like it's so unfathomable to us. And you know, we've talked about, you know, the thousands of people that we've lost in Afghanistan or in Iraq together. Like that's not even, like, that's after 20 years. It's not even scratching the surface of the amount of people that 50,000 or 58,000 in Vietnam. That's it's unfathomable to people how many people that is and how administratively that can affect everything else. Not to mention, once time has passed a little bit, you know, how do you even go about, you know, you feel like it's too late. Like, you know, it's, I mean, honestly, for Jerry and his family, I'm glad that they got the recognition that they deserved. And I'm definitely glad that he met you guys. But, you know, I wonder what go ahead.
That's what the Sergeant Major of the Army was talking about, and all the bro vets from the GWAT were getting mad at him.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Sergeant
yeah.
Major of the Army was
Yeah,
saying,
exactly.
"You guys, we haven't seen total war."
I've been to combat. I've never been to war.
I mean, as you know, a Delta guy, like I've done things, but I ain't never seen total war.
No.
Like, and the bro vets, what are you talking about? We saw war. Like, yeah, we did, but
yeah, we never had a whole company that got just decimated.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, we're gonna have to do this justice. We'll cut the show at the top of the hour, and then Tom, we love having you on anytime, so you come on.
Yeah, man.
Sure. Right.
Hello, guys. You still there? One thing I want to read.
Gary,
Go
ahead.
There's one thing I want to say. When Tom told me this, it said, you know, I was put in for the Medal of Honor. It could take up 2 years to get that, and Fort Knox, Kentucky wanted to give me something. Well, they gave me something. Now they recognize the action. Now it's up to my political people to take that and try to get it upgraded, and that may happen in the future.
Anything we can do to help with that, let us know. So for sure, but no, we'll redo this. We'll redo this one, and then maybe we can get General Klein on as well. Maybe after he retires, he'll pop on officially, and then
He did send me a message. Him and his wife, they just got an RV. They're out in the woods, and he said he's got shitty reception, and he just couldn't get logged on.
Yeah, we'll redo this, Jerry. We'll get you on when you're not in your car driving, and we'll talk about it. But hey, want to close this out? And
yeah, we're just gonna play the video.
Yeah, play the video.
I think you covered it all at this point, Nick. Yeah, we're gonna definitely have to redo this for sure. You know, this is a tremendous story, and I think what you and General Klein are doing is just phenomenal. And like Nick said, I think it might be a trend, something to look into, because there's got to be so many other warriors out there that didn't get their recognition for things they've done. So, you know, if you're out there and you're watching this, because our audience is a huge Vietnam audience,
we would have a whole team of people that went around and found these dudes. But
yeah, I mean, our audience is heavy with
I'm
Vietnam
talking about
so
the government.
reach out. You know,
the U.S. Army would have, like, we've got whole teams of people that still go look for bodies. Mm-hmm. They're dead. They don't even know it. Like, how about, you know, these dudes that aren't?
Yeah.
Like, that gave like their whole life, but whatever.
Absolutely.
Hey, Tommy got some weight. He can swing some weight around. He got some people he knows.
You can make a few phone calls.
Yeah, we get it there.
No, I think it's phenomenal. But yeah, we definitely need to redo this show where we can, make out everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Chris, play the video, and we'll see you guys next week.
Boom.
Thanks, Tom.
Second. This time, they're going to board on helicopters, and they're going to go into one of the western provinces of Vietnam, close to the Cambodian border. And they're going to attempt to rescue 11 Army Rangers that are pinned down, for lack of a better term. There were some clearing operations that were going in this area, and this area was known for its enemy activity. And as you all know from stories in Vietnam, we're talking about tunnels and bunkers and just ominous terrain that for any infantryman should scare the hell out of them, excuse me. And so they land and they get onto the landing zone, and Lieutenant Ronnie Clark, he takes charge and he puts them in 2 columns. Single file, it's a column. And they are moving across somewhat open area, headed towards a hedgerow, headed into this particular portion of Vietnam. And almost immediately, it sounds like the firefight breaks out, and they stepped into a deliberate ambush. Jerry's in the right column. He's the number 3 man. Point man is on the front. You've got LT, the lieutenant, that's right in front of him, and Jerry's number 3. And the point man immediately gets killed in action. He's the first to die in this battle. Both lead men for both columns get engaged by machine gun fire. The lieutenant that's right in front of Jerry gets shot in the stomach. And that's when Jerry springs into action. And as you heard earlier from some of the comments that were made, ultimately, he puts himself between enemy fire and this lieutenant to save him. And along the way, with all the bullets that are firing, and as he's trying to exfil this individual, Jerry gets hit. He gets hit in the head. And in this ensuing portion of the fight, Jerry's able to get a hand grenade off, which we found later on silenced the enemy. That's a very, very summarized account of what took place. But for those that do not know, it's important. So as you all depart and you go home and you share the story, you know the facts. So this is 54 years in coming, and it's our honor to pin this award on you. I would just also offer that, despite the mission of rescuing Rangers and, maybe clearing a portion of the jungle, doing a sweep looking for the remains, when firefights like that break out, the mission becomes saving one another. It's always about the man to your left and to your right. So that's where I'm sure Jerry's mind was at that point, is just taking care of his brothers. All right, so with that, you ready to publish the orders? Okay, for those of you who do not need to stand, we'll do attention to orders. That is solely to get your attention, not necessarily to stand at attention.
Attention to order. The Bronze Star Medal for Valor has been awarded to Specialist Gerald M. Tempesta for heroism in connection with military operations against a hostile enemy force in the Republic of Vietnam. Specialist Gerald M. Tempesta sought swift and immediate action without regard to his own safety to save the lives of his platoon leader, Ronnie J. Clark, and other members of 1st Platoon Charlie Company, 2nd Battalion, 27th Infantry Regiment, during an ambush that resulted in a 6-hour firefight while on a rescue mission during the Battle of Renegade Woods. In addition to aiding 10 platoon members, Specialist Tempesta sustained severe wounds and continued to fight in the Republic of Vietnam theater. His actions reflect great credit upon himself, his unit, and the United States Army. Signed, Chrissy E. Warmuth, Secretary of the Army.